I forgot I was gonna have people on my show today. I woke up right before the show, and now I'm fixing everything on the fly. This is great. This is some good stuff. Okay, but at least we got chat working. Let's get the counter out of here. I think that's fine. I think we're okay. I don't like that my green screen's showing, but I have to work on that another time. That's not a problem. Okay, my camera's working. All right, so today I have Mr. Justin, who plays in my D&D games. How you doing, Justin? And at the bottom, I have good old philosophical zombie hunter. How you doing, zombie? So how do you hunt a zombie philosophically? What is it? What does your name mean? Mm-hmm.
An ideology that you can kind of predict what they say before they say it. And I thought it was helpful. I like to do debates.
Yeah.
So if I knew what the other side was going to say before they say it, I can prep in a certain way, so it would be easier to win. Basically,
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're talking about the mind-body dichotomy, but in this instance, you're talking about the was it mystics of muscle, people who are purely materialistic, physical, with no spirituality to them.
No. I mean, well, like the topic of your show, like people who believe like in some kind of ideology.
Yeah.
And like they're so subsumed by it that when you talk to them, no matter like any time of day, you say hello, did you know that this is going wrong with the world, and you like activists or something like this.
Oh,
So
but I thought you said earlier they're like
Yeah. So
materialistic
basically,
in the deterministic sense. Like you knew what they were going to
no,
say.
he's. I get it. He's basically saying he's a really good at basically on. He chose his name because he's really good at debating people that are on Twitch all the time because they say the same things.
Or is he good at debating people because they're
predictable?
They're predictable.
Predictable.
And it's boring. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the way I see that is that if they're zombies, if they're just physical beings with no mind, and they just parrot what reality is in a sense, like they're Marxist materialists in a sense, that when you have a debate with someone in an argument, they're almost determined to say the same crap over and over again without any free will of their own. Would that be like an accurate statement?
I think they have the option of free will. They just choose not to use it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Abdication. Yeah.
All right. So I came on today's show with no topic. I was gonna watch some of Zombie's clips. I think he posted a new clip up yesterday, but he's here, so it's gonna be kind of weird watching one of his videos while he's here. That's odd.
Stroke my ego.
All right. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your calm demeanor and the way that you debate with people. It's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Why is my?
That's something I know I need to work on quite a bit. Is calmness in debate.
It doesn't always work, but I try to stay calm as much as possible.
Yeah. I'm just amazed that the people that I've watched you debate are also calm, at least in the clips, and they don't speak over you. They actually listen to what you're saying. They seem to have honest conversations, and I'm not used to people like that. I'm used to people just kind of like me talking to me. It would just be two people stepping over each other constantly.
Yeah.
It's nice sometimes. Like sometimes you have like a debate, but you're kind of like chewing ideas, or like you're bouncing ideas back and forth. So it's in that kind of sense, it's the more civil it is, the nicer the environment.
Absolutely, yeah. I think the video I reviewed of yours yesterday was with Mouthy Infidel, and I watched, what was it,
52 seconds.
52 seconds.
52. Yeah. I saw that this morning. I was like, wow.
Oh, yeah. If you're familiar with my content, some of my older viewers know that I will spend 3 hours and not get through 1.5 minutes of a video because there's so much to unpack between the words that people choose to say that I can't let things go. Every word they say has to be unpacked. Long time no see. Hey, William. Dude, it's been so long, I don't even know who you are, McLaughlin. How long has it been? Years? So, I assume the stream on YouTube is working at the moment. It's not green screened, so that should be okay.
Oh, let me check.
Well, Mert Torin is watching. He's my
Oh,
editor, and he hasn't
okay.
said anything.
Yeah.
And my
Sure,
wife
sure.
is
No,
also
it's good now.
eating
Yeah, yeah.
tacos in the kitchen right now.
Yeah,
So
looks good. Sweet. I just got the
Oh,
tabs muted.
I'm so
Give you those
tired.
views, man.
I work salary, and I kind of make my own hours. I've developed my workday in such a way. The best way I can put it is that I've earned what I've got at my job over the past 5 years with my bosses and my peers. That I'm my own boss. I do what I want, and they leave me alone. I'm completely independent at my job, and typically, I do all my work in the morning, and then I'm kind of off early, and I'm just hanging out at my house doing things. But today was a especially busy day. I had to rip out some tiles last minute, et cetera, do some driving around Florida. That's one of the main reasons why I like my Prius. Good mileage. But I came home, bam, right on my face, fell asleep. But I couldn't even sleep in my bed because my cat puked on my bed. And I cleaned the puke up, but then the cat was sleeping on the side of the bed where there was no puke, and I don't disturb my cat. I'm like, oh, I don't want to wake the cat up, so I just kind of face planted in the couch in the living room. Let's see.
You just let it crust over?
No, I cleaned it, but the spot was wet, and we just.
Gotcha.
And here, we just can't. Can you see the bed? Probably. We had to. Let me see if I can grab the
Change
bed.
all the sheets.
Right over there. Yeah, like the green sheets. I changed all the sheets while I was doing the show, so my wife was handling that. So there's no cat puke. I want to show there. Anyway, my camera on Discord shows the background, and I don't want to show the background. Okay, great. Well, like I said, I don't have much to talk about today. I was gonna watch a video. How have you two been lately? Can you provide content for my show? Is what I'm saying in an underhanded way.
Of course, easily.
Oh,
I'm not the kind of person. I've never been this kind of person where I start a conversation or I engage people. I do not. This may sound cruel. I don't know how a better way to put this. I don't find people interesting. I've always been this way. Since I was 5, 6 years old, I would lock myself in my room and play with my Legos, my G.I. Joes, and my Ninja Turtles. I guess implicitly, I only hung out with my friends when they had toys. I was called what you would say is a fair-weathered friend, a friend who only hangs out when you have something to offer me. Little did I know that's how you're supposed to be in a sense, but I didn't know that growing up. But in the army and in my professional life, I don't talk to anybody. But the minute someone brings a topic up, I rant for hours. You can't shut me up. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Hey, Daunting Zebra. I have a real leftist argument for you. Lol, same, Diego. Exactly. It's not that I find people boring. I don't know. Maybe I don't find myself interesting and I project that in other people. This is a psychological issue. I never really introspected
not a
on this
psychologist.
because I'm a real private person. So it works out that I don't talk to anybody. I can spend months without talking to my best friend. It's like, oh, okay, you're alive? Great. On the phone, if I speak to someone for more than a minute, it's way too long. I can't do it. Hi, how you doing? Are you going to be at the party? Yes, see you later. And if they try to ask me, but Diego, no. No. We do that in person, dude.
But you'll get on Twitch, though, and talk to a bunch of people. I guess they're not responding. So they're not talking to you.
I love it. And I've made that abundantly clear to my viewers that the best shows that I have, the ones that I enjoy the most, is when the people in chat bring things up to talk about. And I can just riff off of them. But to actually show up with my own content, it's like, oh my God, what can I find on Twitter while that 5-minute music is playing that I can talk on the show about for 45 minutes?
Here's a topic that I was very loosely getting into on your website that you hate to navigate, Quora, or however you say it. There was a quote expert psychologist out there saying that everyone acts everyone does things based on feelings, and logic and all this stuff is is irrelevant. And I told him in a reply back that, well, you're right in a sense that most people do things that way, but you're wrong in effect that you can't use your mind to control your emotion because you're, as we know, based on this chapter here. Oh, you can't see it. Maybe you can see it.
What? Okay.
Reason,
Well,
chapter 5
yeah.
on this guy. Yeah. Opar. It's I'm like partway through chapter 5, almost done. And it's basically stating the subjectivist or intrinsic feeling point of view, as opposed to using thought and logic and all that. And I didn't really think of it kind of in those terms, but it makes a lot of sense. So anyway, that's something that came up recently. So perhaps talk about some reason. Oh, you got some video up here though now.
Well, yeah, Daunting Zebra has a video for us to watch, but I'll just talk about that a little bit, what you just brought up.
Okay.
So
sure.
When it comes to a non-objectivist, when it comes to just an individual living his life, introspection and the act that you're a conceptual being is hard work. It's not easy. And there's a reason for that, because before you could even form memories, you are already inducing at your level your concepts and then responding to reality. But it's not a problem, but the issue is this: you're already forming emotional responses to pain pleasure mechanisms when you're 1 day old, 6 months old, 2 months old. So people who have like a fear of spiders, fear of heights, or just fears of whatever in general, something happened to you when you were younger. So at some point...
Yeah, I watched Arachnophobia, Diego.
Yeah, so at some point, you're now 4, 5, 6 years old. Like, if you go back to your earliest memories, I'm sure you can remember being in a crib or walking around and playing with some Fisher-Price toys, but you can't go back to when you were, like, sucking on the nipple or when you're just born. So by the time you are, quote-unquote, memorially aware that you have formed memories to the point that you can recall them, you've already established a lot of emotional responses to the environment. So when a young intellectual... 8, 10, 12, 13, 8, 20 years old, whatever. When a young intellectual starts to introspect on the meaning of life, the one thing that is blatantly apparent to that individual is their emotional responses, because it's automatic and it's always been with them since they could form memories, which is the cause of why someone like Plato, who should be lauded for establishing the first systematic philosophy ever. Good on you, Plato. But what he was wrestling with, the whole mind-body dichotomy, the whole issue of splitting up the mental and the body is a consequence of, at that time, not correctly identifying what emotions were, what intuitions are, and what concepts are, and then just kind of lumping everything that's inside you together in one realm. So you have the Socrates or Plato or Aristotle, who, when they're rational, they're trying to identify reality and they're trying to integrate reality, but they also have emotions, passions, fears, and loves. And they weren't at the point where they can split reason from emotions. Understand that they work hand in hand and they're not enemies, but they would see and feel, they would see the physical world, and they would feel something. And that's where the mind-body split comes in, which is why when you come across a psychologist or any person, or pretty much today, who's not an explicit objectivist, their entire worldview is either subjective or intrinsic. It's either the world, existence is everything I feel and everything I am, or existence is everything outside of me. It's one or the other. And that's one of the revolutionary aspects of objectivism is that it's the first time where someone explains what emotions probably are. I agree with Rand, though, and how emotions are formed, that they're not the id and superego kind of dictating your life. They're not, I think, what was it, Descartes, who had the little demon on the shoulder? Was it Hume or Descartes? I forgot, but they had the little demon on the shoulder, and then it was all basically man versus emotions, or the mind versus the body for all those years. So it doesn't surprise me when you see psychiatrists on Quora talking about either subjective or intrinsic, because that's all anyone knows before Rand and even after Rand. That's all many people know, is either just the intrinsic or the subjective. They don't conceive the, to us it's obvious because we're learning this and we're being honest, but there's no connection between the two. There's no integration between your consciousness and reality. And of course, what ties that together is life as a standard, but as we know, that doesn't come about until Rand said. And then life as a standard implies causality to the human entity. We have a nature, you have to act in a certain way to survive, blah, blah, blah. Like, we get that. But before Objectivism, I didn't get that. And my life was a complete mess. It was a complete emotional mess.
I was one of those dirty conservative Republican pragmatists that you were talking about.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
So last year you were a complete pragmatic Republican, and I'd say before I was 35, I was a completely brainless, pragmatic Democrat leftist. Absolutely.
Yeah.
PJ,
you weren't a nihilist. Well, that's good. You weren't a nihilist.
PJ, right? PJ is my best friend, and he didn't go to my wedding because I've talked about this on my stream, because our friendship ended because we had an argument over the minimum wage in New York many years ago.
Oh,
and I supported the minimum wage in New York, and he didn't. And so I made a video talking about him, but without naming him, and I put it on my old YouTube channel, and he didn't like that. It kind of ended our friendship, and I wrote him off because how could you not support the minimum wage? How can you not care about the poor? Blah, blah, blah. So I was completely that person. And I'll regret that for a long time, that he was the one person that wasn't at my wedding. And then, obviously we made up, and now I'm having fun trying to kill his character every Sunday in our games.
Funny story that you mentioned. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I recently had this sort of thing where people who I thought were friends of mine, because of my philosophy or political leanings, they just kind of like got upset with me at some point. I didn't really tell them it's like my philosophy for a long time, and then like once they knew, it was more difficult. It just went downhill.
Yeah, that's one essential I had to learn, is what friends actually are, and that you don't have to accept the entirety of a person into your life. You can just have a friend who shares in a particular value. So if I want to go play Magic the Gathering or Warhammer, or if I want to play an online video game on a Discord with somebody, they can be a complete communist, a complete fascist. I don't care what they are, as long as they're good at playing the game. Like if I go play Dota 2, I don't care who's on my team, as long as I know how to carry, as long as I know how to run certain lanes. But the issue is that I understand what values are. I understand how values play a role in my selfish well-being. And I know how to target values in certain people to call them my friend or to call them my family. So I can selfishly benefit from that value. The rest of that person, I don't care. Like most people in my family, they're Christian, they're Democrats, they're leftists, right? And they pray at the table. I don't pray. They talk about God this. They say, oh, thank God, Diego, Jesus saved you today from COVID. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I don't pay it any mind, because that's not what's important to me. What's important to me are the other values that these people give me. If they want to be mystical or whatever, that's on them. But early on in Objectivism, I had that issue of feeling lonely until I realized values are my best friend. And then I learned how to target people with specific values, and now I cherish friends more than ever. Before, when I had 1,000 people in my life, I had no friends, even though I called everybody a friend. But now that I have very few people in my life, they mean a lot to me, even if they disagree with me politically on a lot of things. So Existence says here, let me go back to multi-stream. Worst part of being an objectivist is you are willing to be friends with others, but the others package deal you. Yep, absolutely. You're correct. I was going to kind of mention that, but I didn't think it was essential. What was that, Zombie?
Yeah, I agree. It's very upsetting.
Oh, that's their choice. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's also that, and then perhaps the ideas of one of your friends as you become more and more involved or more educated, I should say, in objectivism, and they change as well for some whatever reason. And
Oh, they don't change. No,
well,
you're discovering that's who they've been for a long time. Your friend was always, in general, I'm not saying it's specific. Like, if I had a friend who turned out to be a racist, no. It's because I stopped implicitly being a racist. For example, I want to go to this one video here. Hold on, let me pull this up.
speaking of, while you're pulling that up, go pull up, go to your thing. I took some of the advice that you guys said last. I think it was Friday or Thursday or something. Friday, whatever. Where was it? Wellspring was saying, well, you just got to let them know, like, hey, stop talking about this stuff, whatever. And I did that, and I kept. He would bring up something that was alluding to what we were talking about, but it was more of an irrationalistic justification kind of way. And then, like, it would go back to something close to that, and I was like, look, man, like, we're still talking about this thing. Like, I don't care anymore. And then he just kept going and going and going. And I was like, all right, man, like, I tried to warn you, like, you're getting to the point that you're not getting it. You're not getting it. All right. So here's the deal. Stop. And he never stopped it. I was like, I tried calling him to like talk to him a little bit before it was over. Right. Like, all right. Oh, he's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Word vomit all over again. Diarrhea of the mouth. And, so I just said, okay, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. And, one of my friends, was basically saying a lot of the stuff, or a lot of times when people do stuff like that, they're not really, at first they're looking for your sanction, like you're saying, or they're looking for your approval of some regard. But after that point that they know that they're not going to get it, they do it to prove it to themselves or rationalize, justify it back to themselves. They're not really looking for my approval anymore because they know I'm not going to
if you're having that might all be well and good, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. That all sounds on point, I think. But in the end, if you have a relationship with someone, it's a relationship based on consent. It's not slavery. And if you're having a discussion with somebody and you say, I don't want to talk about this, and they continue talking about it, then, well, they don't respect your wishes. They're not honest actors. And if they think that you say, even if let's give them the benefit of the doubt. And if your friend continues with the conversation to attempt to save your soul or convince you of something, well, then you, from your point of view, with your new education lately, you know that there's nothing they can really say that can change your mind because they're delusional. Then it becomes an issue of how much will you tolerate. Basically, I have family members who try to still convert me back to Christianity, and I tell them flat out, listen, you're going to end this relationship if you continue this. I will leave the house. I will move out. I've done it before, and I'll do it again, like flat out, like a threat. Like, I value you enough, but here's the thing. You depend on me more than I on you. And I'll leave tomorrow, not give an S. I have to put them in their place. And the minute you threaten their the golden goose, in a sense, then they shut up. But if they don't, then you just out. It's the best way I can put it, right? So I can tolerate someone's vices if their values outshine it. But at some point, if they're not being a selfish value to me, then I'll kick them out.
Yeah, and I was going to say, oh well, man, I can't believe I lost him as a friend, and I was like, I can't believe fuck that. Excuse me. Screw that, man. He lost me as a value, right?
Yeah.
Or no? Yeah, he was not providing a value to me, so he lost me as a value.
Yes, you'll learn as you sharpen your mind, as you integrate reality, as you become a beacon of virtue in your life. You will radiate to others. It's sort of like when you have a girlfriend. When you're single, women don't notice you. But when you have a girlfriend, women notice you, and you're like, where were you 2 years ago? What's going on here? It's the same thing. Now that you don't want to be people's friends because you've changed, they're going to try harder to keep you in their life because they're going to realize, oh, this guy is a value. Oh, this guy is essentially worth $1 million of virtue points. Now I want him around me. So you are the lottery. They're not the lottery. You are the lottery. And you have to pick who wins you. instead of just egalitarian wise giving all the winnings to all your friends. No, I'm the lottery.
Yep.
And if you want a piece of this sweet honey pot, you play by my rules. That's how that works. I'm going to exploit you, buddy. All right, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can I layer it with the? I just wanted to layer it. See what you guys think.
Yeah, please.
I'm wondering if Justin's friend, if maybe he has like something that he believes really strongly in, and all of a sudden he learned that something Justin believes in is opposing it, and he's like trying to be like a bit of an activist and say, "No, Justin, listen, this isn't the right way. Let me change your mind." And but it's like it's not the actual person. It's like it's not the friend anymore. It's like something else is talking, like the ideology or the
Captain Save-A-Ho talking. Yeah.
Okay, that's one way.
That's what it is, Captain Save-A-Ho. It's now, I have to save you from your delusions, Mr. Objectivist man. It's become a crusade. You understand what I'm saying?
It would be nice if it was like this cute little philosophy that this guy has, and like, oh, it's a bit quirky, but we leave him alone. It's like, no, I have to change their mind.
Yeah, because you and Justin represent pure selfishness. And pure selfishness, rationally understood, is diametrically opposed to every other philosophy out there, religious or non-religious, all mystical. The most communist, leftist, Che Guevara worshipping Reddit neckbeard you'll find, and the most well-trimmed, suit-wearing Christian, Muslim, conservative, religious person, they're both altruist. And they see you as the most evil thing on the planet because you represent selfishness and you represent going against authority. And you are the ultimate prize for them to try to conquer. And I think people come across objectivists. It's someone they haven't come across before. It's like a challenge. It's like, oh, wow, you actually think this way? I thought this was in stories. Holy cow. I gotta really save you, Justin. Like, really save you. But here's the thing. From Justin's point of view, he's selfish. He doesn't want to have any part of it. He sets the terms. I'm not having this conversation. Full stop. Do you want to play Mario Kart? Yes or no? No? Well, I'm going to go do something else. If you keep bugging me, then F off. Because it's about Justin's sanity, Justin's life, and Justin's value. The other guy can pound sand. And if Justin walks out of the relationship and the other guy has question marks over his head, like, that guy is lost in the dark. It's not Justin's concern. That's that guy's road to travel and figure out on his own. He has this pesky thing called free will that he has to deal with, and nothing Justin can do to help him. As a matter of fact, Justin, he tried being that objectivist for a while, arguing on Facebook, arguing on Twitter, arguing with family members, doing
the evangelical type, the slightly altruist objectivist, which is
the thing that older objectivists tell younger ones not to do, but you have to do it because you have to experience it. You have to learn what evasion is firsthand. And once you have a taste of it, you're like, wow, whether it's my brother, a stranger on the internet, my wife, my kids, my principal, they all have the same essential evasion. Man, there is something to this evasion. They just won't listen to reason. Oh, wow. Good Lord. It seems like most religious people dislike, hate, insert similar word here, atheists more than members of other religions. It depends. I know George Bush, after 9/11 happened, he completely agreed with Islam and capitulated to it because he named Islamic terrorists within the first couple of weeks, then realized that the God that he worships is the same God they worship. And if he were to denounce religion as such, he would be denouncing mysticism. Thus, he would have to be denouncing his own religion. So he went ahead and capitulated and stopped that.
Yeah.
Which is the issue. It's the essential here.
That's partially true. I think that it was. It might be a little semantical to say it this way because it was on the one of the podcasts eons ago by now. But they were basically saying that because he's religious, he couldn't declare war on a religion, and he thought, "Oh man, I think I declared war on a religion. So let me just go ahead and clarify. Well, some of them are good people, and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Oh no, that didn't happen. There's no way." And I went back and I tried to find all these videos, and I was like, "Wow, it's what?"
Well, Yeah, I mean,
Did you see that? I must have missed that one.
People don't want to be overtly hypocritical. So here's the issue. Right now, I'm against Islam because they're throwing gays off roofs. They're flying planes in the buildings. They're whipping women, throwing acid on them. Man, Islam is really bad towards people. Now, as a Christian, has it ever happened to my religion over the past 2,000 years? Let me think. Yes. Do my people go to Africa to this day and try to convert people through force? Yes. So if you're going to denounce mysticism of one stripe, especially when it's your brother religion, because Islam, Christianity, it's all the same crap, he'd have to denounce himself. So when he named Islam in the first couple of weeks, his constituents told him to cut it, to not do it anymore. So he capitulated and said, "Okay, we're not fighting Islamic terrorism. We're just fighting terrorism, or we're just fighting."
Extremist terrorist.
What kind of terrorist?
Extremist terrorist.
Yeah, not the nice terrorist, not the pacifist terrorist, but the extremist terrorist. Yeah, exactly.
Because there's always those pacifist terrorists. They terrorize through not doing anything. Right? That's
Daunting says we lost the war on drug. Also, I mean, that's the problem when war is an act of physical force, and drug use is just an action between an individual and an entity in reality. You can't declare war against an action. It's not how that works. Imagine if America attempted to declare war against kamikazes or Nazis, but didn't attack Germany and didn't attack Japan, and just said, we want to fight Nazis, but not the people who are funding Nazis, i.e. the German government. It's just as ludicrous as saying, we're going to fight terrorism, but not the Iranian or Saudi Arabian or the Syrian governments that fund terrorists. Just terrorists in general. And since we're fighting terrorists, the West is imperial, we're terrorists, so who can cast the first stone? We can't do it. So let's just throw soldiers out in the Middle East to die for 25 years and do nothing. Sad. Let's see. Yeah, lone wolves. Yeah, individuals in Western society are seen as freaks. Absolutely. So real quickly, I just want to bring this up.
Oh, well, actually, I have a trick for if you want to get along with other people and you're individualist or
what's the trick?
Self-interest individual. You can say I'm just really interested in virtue ethics.
Virtue ethics.
Well, virtue ethics is basically people like ancient Greek philosophy, so Aristotle or Stoicism. Yeah. And Stoicism is very popular right now.
It is.
It is, very much so. Yeah,
so you could say you're interested in virtue ethics, and then just leave you alone.
I just read. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had a guy who was like, "Oh, Stoicism." I just got done I don't know. It wasn't that long ago. Whenever he was talking to me, that I just finished the Leonard P. Koff's History of Philosophy. And I was like, "Wait, Stoicism? Let me. Oh, man, that was these guys. And I watched it real quick, and I was like, "Oh man, you can't tell me that this is still like the way the Stoics are." He's like, "No, it's like neo-Stoicism. It's kind of like Stoicism. It's got a little bit of somebody else, I can't remember now, in there, and then they kind of just mush it together." And
so
it still seems the same to me. It's arbitrarily the same, pretty much.
Yesterday on the New Ideal, it's a website here, on Ayn.org, I read an article by Aaron Smith, and it's about Stoicism versus Objectivism. Is free will magic? It's a really good article. I'll pin this on the YouTube comment. It's worth a read. It's really good. And I've criticized Stoicism on my show before, because in the end they're determinists. But no, you're correct. If you want to talk to leftists, or if you want to talk to people in general, you just throw in virtue ethics. And I guess that's a good starting point, because it's kind of hard to go from complete altruism to complete selfishness with most people. They just can't even conceive of that. So if you want to build a little bridge, I guess you can. I had fun with another objectivist. I actually had a falling out with him on Twitter because, well, he was wrong. And there's this trend among certain objectivists. I don't get it. That they're objectivists, but they call themselves Aristotelian. It's really weird. I don't get it. It's like they're shying away from the moniker of objectivists. I don't know.
They don't want to get blasted.
whatever.
Mm.
Yeah, they're just cowards. And
Yeah.
the argument was that Aristotle did not derive ethics selfishly. Aristotle's standard for ethics, like what's good, was completely altruistic and collectivistic. Yeah, the way that he derived what's good is that you look at the most prominent people in society, the rich people, the flourishing people, and you emulate them. You do what they do. That was the basis of his ethics. It's completely platonic in that sense.
Yeah.
And if you start with that kind of ethics and you just stay there, well, then you're not going to go anywhere. It's pretty much a dead end. You might get to Stoicism at some point. But the next logical step, I think, was a founding father was John Locke with the rights, and then, well, Rand. I mean, that's the correct way of doing things. But yeah, Stoicism is very interesting. In the end, Stoicism is very mystical. Stoicism still believes in a god. It still believes in a mechanistic universe, deterministic universe, and they think that by living a non-emotional life, that you'll live a good life. But the problem is, you also don't love anything. You don't grow any attachments.
Yeah.
And,
No
If
attachment to
I
any emotion, positive or negative.
if I can say maybe a few positive things about Stoicism,
please,
I'd
yes,
say so.
I'm always negative. Go ahead.
So the old Stoics were what's considered fatalistic, as in they believed in a fate, or like the gods had a particular fate for them. But even though the fate was determined, they'll do the best they can with what they got, with what they've been dealt with. Modern Stoicism, there is like an element of free will. Certainly, it is very good if you have a very hectic job. People will recommend it, especially like in Silicon Valley is where I heard it, where people had like a very hectic life, and it helps you like manage stress quite effectively. Um, I th- I did have like a discussion on my channel with someone who really likes it, and I asked him, how do you set goals in Stoicism? Because I wasn't clear on how you obtain like some sort of value that you want, because it more seems like handling bad things well and not going after things. But I think he framed it around you challenge yourself, y- you set goals by challenging yourself and then handling those challenges well. That's my, but it is nice. And Aaron Smith, the guy from AIRI, he does like it, but he just cuts certain bits out. And if you remember in Fountainhead, when Rourke went to the quarry, that was an element of Stoicism, where like, well, there's just like a certain limit, and I can't go beyond that. I can't like get any more upset. When he went to the quarry, that's like an element of Stoicism in Rand's writing.
See, my opinion on this. So you're correct. Stoicism teaches you, in my opinion, to pragmatically deal with uh, pain, with vices, with issues in your life, with a stressful job. Don't sweat it. But the fundamental problem with that approach is that emotions, whether you feel good or bad, all come from the same source. Basically, your pain pleasure center in your mind. And if you're going to deny the essential of I know you made the distinction, the modern Stoics versus the ancient Stoics. I'm talking about the ancient Stoics. The ancient Stoics lumped all emotions together because they viewed emotions as a separate spirit inside the body that you had to learn to control, that you were at odds with. This is another version of the um, mind-body dichotomy. So modern Stoics can probably square that round hole a little better and eschew bad feelings and to live with good feelings. But I was never a Stoic. I went full hog into objectivism, and the way that I deal with stress in life is a proper understanding of my hierarchy of values and knowing that if I'm trying to, my job, I get a paycheck, and at my job, I have a certain degree of freedom. So, like today, my boss called me at 4 o'clock last minute. Hey, I need you to do this job, and I never worked that late, but I didn't bother me one bit. Why? Because I love my job, and that's a short term annoyance. It's short term stress, but because I conceptualize, recognize, plan, and visualize why I love my job, the negatives don't matter. The pain only goes so deep. I don't care if I work late. I don't care if my boss yells at me. That's superficial. It doesn't bother me. That's not why I'm at that job. So it's not that I ignore pain. It's that the pain doesn't matter to me. I don't live a life seeking to avoid pain. I live a life seeking values, and all the disvalues or the vices or the pains in my life don't really bother me anymore because I'm too busy trying to. I'm 41 years old. I spent half my life as a pseudo nihilist leftist. I don't have that much time left on this planet. I don't care about my friends with bad political views. I don't care about my boss and his crappy stress inducing orders. Not because I'm trying to compartmentalize my emotions and then hide them. It's because I'm trying to seek values. I'm too busy living to care about the pain, in a sense. He went to
That's
the
very
court.
interesting.
He went, oh yeah. It's like if you are 18 years old and you want to become a computer engineer and you have to go through 4 years of college, the value is that you have to get that paperwork, you have to learn some coding, and all the crap in between, they're requirements. They're just part of reality. They're short term, it may suck, but once you gain that value, dude, it feels like it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger with that old iron pumping video. It feels like coming constantly, never ending coming. The pump feels like you're just coming. When I have a good day's work, I have fellow employees that will spend 6 hours doing construction work that I'll knock out in 45 minutes. And when I'm done with my job at 10 in the morning and they're asking me for help at 5 in the afternoon, I'm like, no, that's when I'm coming. I'm feeling,
Hey there, little boy.
like,
Would
hold
you
on.
like some shrimp?
Well, thank you for tasting my shrimp. Much appreciated. So I understand that if you're not a Stoic and you're not an objectivist, and remember I said earlier, emotions are obvious and apparent to all human beings. It's a natural part of your body. If you're learning to deal with pain, it may seem like compartmentalizing it and then putting it aside may help, but it does in the short term. But in the long term, if you don't identify the values you're seeking, the short-term pragmatic dodging the dragon catches up with you, and you feel fake, you feel like you're plastic, and you feel like you're avoiding half of life.
Diego, can I ask you a question?
Yeah. It's 9 inches.
Thank you. That was really it. And then the
Yeah,
next
it's
one is like,
from
is it
my
boxers or
palm
shorts? But
to
yeah,
my finger.
yeah.
What's up?
Well, you've
I
said
don't know, my penis? That's 4. No, but what's your question?
so. I find that in later life, it's difficult to set goals. Like you had goals in your earlier life,
No, I
and
didn't.
hopefully you've achieved some of them. And then,
Nope.
like in later life, it's difficult to get excited about. I don't know, setting goals, especially like if you have a family and stuff like that. You're just like going through the motions.
I mean, you made some assumptions there, which are incorrect because it's the exact opposite. Until I was 35, I agree with you. Okay, overall, I agree with what you said essentially. That for some people, as you get older, life becomes maybe a little more unbearable. If that's the best way I can put it. And if you're younger, you can deal with life a little easier. For me, so I can't speak for anyone else, until I was 35, I had no direction in life because I was taught that careers were for suckers, college, the degree. A lot's going through my head right now. I'm reliving the 90s. I left high school with this mentality that I wasn't good enough. Unless I was the best, I wasn't good enough. But because I went to an art high school. But at the same time, because I wasn't a straight A student and I couldn't be a commercial artist, I couldn't be a digital artist, I couldn't be the best, my life wasn't worth it. At the same time, I was also being taught that believing in careerism, that looking for a job is also bad. So I was taught 2 anti-life things in public education at the same time, that I wasn't worth it And then if I tried to get a career, careers weren't worth it. So I got a phone call from the Army one afternoon when I was 18. The recruiter said, "Hi, I'm such and such. Do you want to join the Army?" I said, "Yes," immediately. I went to the recruiters, signed the paperwork, came home, and showed my mom. I'm like, "All right, I'm off." And why did I do that? Because I was taught that I couldn't make it in life through education, through my peers, through my family, because I was a D student, I couldn't make it. So I just joined the Army. It was just like that. And then when I left the Army from 24 until 35, I never held a steady job. My life was a complete nihilistic shambles. But that's the thing. I didn't know I was in shambles. I mean, I talk about this all the time. I cry in the shower. I was suicidal. I was depressed. But at the same time, I was a very happy, energetic person. I'm the life of the party. But my engine was broken. I didn't know how to fix it. I couldn't focus on anything. I couldn't navigate life. But everyone around me seem to be able to hold down jobs, have families. They can achieve values. I didn't know what achievement was. I didn't know what values were. All I knew was that everybody around me was successful, but I was still living at home with my mom. I couldn't hold a job down for 3 months. I couldn't concentrate on anything. So I was the problem. On this planet, I was the broken one. I was the failure. I was the defect. Until Leonard Peikoff said capitalism is the only moral system, and that pretty much changed my whole life. Then I learned what values were. Then I learned what a benevolent universe was. Then I learned a hierarchy of values. But it was essentially learning what values actually were in human affairs that changed my entire life. And not to live a life in a malevolent universe like I live in a Schopenhauer or Shakespearean universe where I have no control over anything, that the fates and the gods deterministically tell me what to do, that I can set my goals. And when I do, the metaphysical reward is happiness. It's pure pleasure. Pride, because I was a Christian too for like 30 years. Pride, the thing that I was taught would send me to hell, was the very thing that builds you as a man or a woman or a couch or a dragon. I don't know. I don't want to be banned on Twitch by saying the wrong pronoun. But at 35, because I was able to set my values, life right now is too easy. Like, I feel like I won. It's really weird. I can't explain it. Like, you set a challenge before me, I could achieve it. I have confidence for the first time. Now, if you say, Diego, go ahead and code what's required to fly a space shuttle, no. Or build a skyscraper, no. But things within my power, within my scope, nature to be commanded must be obeyed, I can do it. Like, go build the cabinet. Yeah, I can do that. Go build the house. Give me 6 months. I can do that, right? But where before, I thought I wasn't capable of doing anything. So I don't buy that age matters. Every individual has the potential to use their focus, to use their free will, to make the best of their life. And I didn't live another life where I was objectivist young and then I got older and it became harder. I don't know what that life would even feel like. I just know how to live my life. And the minute I learned what values were and I tested it out, life became easy. Great. I love it. I got fired from my job last year, but I knew I was the best employee in my company. I knew it. I'm like, I have no problem. When I got fired, this is okay. Old Diego would have cried in the shower, would have been depressed. When I got fired from my job last April, the very first thing I did was I got a construction job remodeling someone's bathroom across the street. I worked 8 hours, made $1,400, and my bills were set for the month. I'm like, okay, well, I actually don't have to work for the whole month if I don't want to. I can pay the mortgage, I can pay the car bill, I can pay all that stuff. I don't want to be fat, so I got to lay off on the fast food. So maybe it's a little bit of control, not having too much money, because I'm still learning control, right? But that was the first time in my life where I realized I can survive on my own. This independence things matters, that I can do it. So I was not worried about getting hired by my job back. But funny enough, because I was the best employee, they hired me back, offered me my own car, gave me a raise, said they're sorry. I'm like, yeah, you're damn right you're sorry. You got rid of me. And it turns out that the CEO of my company he thought that COVID was the end of the world. I remember I talked about this the other day, where your philosophy dictates your actions, and when people think the world is literally ending, they take those actions, like doomsday preppers. Whether you think it's the ice caps are going to melt in 10 years, or you think Jesus is coming in 10 years, it doesn't matter what mysticism you
Or
believe
the
in.
Mayan calendar ended.
Mayan calendar, yes, it's another one. Absolutely. Acid rain in the 80s, the freeze in the 70s, population in the 60s. It never ends. It goes back until Babylonian times. It never ends, right? The guy that ran the company thought that COVID was going to destroy the planet. So he just started firing everybody. So it wasn't like I was targeted. It's that he just started firing people out of panic until the board members in his company, which turned out to be his family because it's a private company, they basically outed him. They said, no, bro, you're out. They kicked their own family member out. They took over and rehired everyone back. But they hired me first at my branch. They didn't hire some other people. But you know what? What you're saying earlier about your age and trying to navigate life, I knew I'd get rehired as soon as the warranty department opened up again. Even if they didn't, I could make my own way. But I wasn't like that when I was younger. I didn't have the confidence in myself. I believed too strongly of what society taught me that I wasn't worth anything. And until Peikoff taught me, no, you have to trust yourself and go out there and make it. I mean, it's a lot deeper than that, but I'm not going to get into that here. And I could get fired right now. And I get that feeling when people get fired, you have that worry. What am I going to do tomorrow? How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to feed my family? I felt that for like 20 years. I get that feeling. I just don't feel that anymore. If my boss called me on the phone right now and said you're fired, the first thing that comes to my mind is I don't want to make too much money this month if I go out and do contract work, because I actually want to just read books and have some time off. It's no longer, am I going to die next week? It's like, I don't need to make $30,000 in 2 weeks renovating bathrooms. I can calm down, mainly because I have a bad back. I have to be careful with my back. It's a metaphysical fact. I can't do that. But yeah, I mean, the switch is amazing once you're confident with yourself. $1,400 covers all that. Man, I got to go to Florida. I mean, what can I say? Every place has a different standard of living, as they
Cost
say.
of living.
The cost of living, right? If you have an internet job, Chandler, let's say you're making money online, buy a house in Montana, buy a house in the middle of Iowa. The idea that you need to live in a city center or a state that's democratically run or liberal, which is typically a good thing when it comes to a lot of networking, those days are over. Go buy a house in the middle of Russia for $10. You can hop online and build websites. Or I worked for Microsoft for 2 years doing search engine fixes. And I worked in my home. I made, what was it, like $17 an hour sitting in my house. And they would give me search queries. And I would, they'd give me the search query, hot dog. And then they would show me pictures of actual hot dogs and like penises. Which one do you think people would search for when they search hot dog? And I'd click hot dog. So whenever you would search for things on Google for a couple of years, it was people like me, I was dictating what would show up on your search results. But you could do that job. I could go to the moon. If someone said live on the moon.
Diego's over here looking for a bag of hot dogs.
Yeah. Louisiana's pretty cheap right now. Yeah, just don't live near the beach, I hear. Right?
Yeah. There's
no skateboarding at the beach in Montana. If skateboarding is a value for you, skateboard away, That's the great thing about living in 2021. As bad as people make it out to be with COVID and government shutdowns, it's really still not that bad. It really isn't. During the Spanish flu, which killed, 18 million people, there were government lockdowns at that time. Lockdowns happened then as well. People there didn't care for the most part. They went along, and the 20s were the roaring 20s. It's not like people just folded into their caves and died after the Spanish flu. They went out, got credit cards, and partied for a decade. They had fun, right? Until the Fed ruined everything. So
yeah, that's when the prohibition came.
Yeah.
There's still prohibition crap going on.
So
terrible. Sure.
life is good. And people was telling me, yeah, but even I've said this. DeSantis is locking down on free speech. Yeah, he is. So what? If you lived in 1914, 1915, 1917, when World War I broke out, where Congress passed laws that said if you speak out against World War I, we will jail you. I mean, that's a gross violation of free speech. And I think Protestants were jailed when they went out and spoke against going to Europe. So clamping down on free speech is not a new thing. Your rights were eroded after the Republicans passed the antitrust laws in the 1880s, 1890s. America was done, and it's been downhill ever since. So, I'd rather live now in 2021 with all the craziness we have than 100 years ago. It's not more free back then. You can now go online and work anywhere you want. You don't like the lockdowns where you live? Go move to the middle of Zimbabwe. I'm pretty sure their internet is better than most places in America. Get a nice plot of land there, put some guns on your property, and then code online. Work for Microsoft or something. I don't know. Or if you're
Maybe build a wall with some rebar.
Or if you're a cam whore, you can do that anywhere you want. Make your $1,000 a minute and then go move somewhere. Invest yourself for a year. I don't know. There's so much to do in 2021. There's too many jobs. I need the government to calm down and clamp on all these jobs. There's too many opportunities for people today. Kids these days don't know how good they have it. When I was their age, I could only wave my penis on cam on one website. Nowadays, I can wave my penis on 20 websites at once and make 20 times the dollars. Come on, folks.
Yeah.
Life advice from Diego.
You're right.
Why the F would you want to live in Louisiana? I don't know. Maybe you like wrestling alligators or marrying redheads with missing teeth.
There's a nice little spot. I think it's called Venice, not to be confused with Venice Beach, but it's called Venice. The little dock. They got a bunch of boats out there. They got dudes taking people out for like thousands of dollars for tuna fishing and all this sorts of stuff. That's really what there is to do. That's what I went there for.
That's cool.
That's about it.
Deep sea fishing, man. If your passion is sailing or fishing or tourism, then yeah, you can do that. Right? That would be great. So, why do you ask that question about age and values, Mr. Zombie Hunter? Any particular reason? Or better question. Did I provide you a decent answer or context?
Yeah,
or
I guess. Okay. I guess. I'm in a phase in my life where I'm looking for those goals I was so energetic about when I was younger. That's it.
I mean, yeah, you just gotta follow your passion. What can I say?
Go
ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
like what I'm doing at the moment. It's new for me, and I similar to you, Diego. I had dyslexia throughout my life, and I have difficulty. It's like math. I have difficulty reading, or I read very slowly. And in the I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, I discovered audiobooks on the way to work, and Objectivism and the Rand novels, and it kind of was really mind blowing. I had all this information thrown at me very, very rapidly, and it seemed like I got a second opportunity to learn new things, and philosophy was really cool, and I started understanding the world a bit better, and I started applying some of the epistemology things in my office, and started to see understand office politics better and how people think and stuff like that. And I could then plan a few steps ahead before they even tell me what they're gonna do. So I found it very practical, the advice from Objectivism. And I don't know, I've just been really hungry for information, for ideas ever since. And I look at.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I cut people off all the time. You just go ahead and keep going.
Yeah, so I kind of like the debates also, because it kind of challenges me to see if my ideas are solid, and the concept. I do still have this thing where I have all these ideas in my head sometimes about this relatively new topic, but I can't articulate it well yet.
Yes, absolutely.
But I really like this flood of information, flood of ideas in my later life. So I'm trying to
The one
squeeze it for all
advice,
I can.
the one advice I can give to both of you, I'm not an old objectivist. I've just been in it for like 5 years. Is that there's no hurry. Take your time. If something confuses you, if you can't articulate something and you're beating yourself up over it, if you can just put it aside and go watch a movie, go hang out with the wife, go hang out with friends, and come back to it a month from now, you'll be just fine. Um, when there are probably 1,000 things I want to fix about my life. Am I going to get to it before I'm dead? No. That's a fact of reality. It is what it is. It's not a moral issue. I can only fix what I can one after another in order of importance to my happy seeking nature. Um, and there's no shame in that. So you're dyslexic, right?
Well, yeah, I can read. I don't see it like backwards. It's just very, very slow, and I
Okay.
lose concentration. So high school was a wash completely. Somehow managed to do a degree because it was something I was really strong at, but like I really relied on my strengths.
Good.
But yeah, the philosophy is so it's really cool and helpful to understand things. And I think like after 25, my brain kind of settled and things were like more rational and the world seemed a bit clearer. So yeah, it was nice.
I was trying to film my two shrimp. I think they're trying to get it on. So you did talk about one thing. I'll get to Jamie. I'll get to you in a second, okay? And this is important, is that moral issues do not pertain to unchosen aspects of reality. Um, for most of my life, I thought I was broken. I thought I was wrong because of my ADHD. I can't focus on anything for more than a couple minutes. It's just how I am, right? And I thought that I was evil. Or I thought that was wrong. And an important aspect of the philosophy, which helped me understand, is that I was born this way. And can I take drugs to fix it? Yes, I've done it in the past, right? But who I am is not a moral issue in a sense, my biological self. And I don't know if this pertains to you and your dyslexia. Maybe I'm speaking past you. Maybe I'm just being rude. I don't know. But if anyone out there, if you think that there is a physical aspect of yourself and you think there's something wrong with you, that fate has dealt you the wrong hand, there's nothing moral in it. I mean, the best way I can articulate this is going to sound weird for you guys, is that, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but this is the only context I can say this for
Uh-oh.
non-objectivists out there, is that God gives you challenges and you have to overcome them. In the sense that reality doesn't give you challenges because reality isn't a conscious thing, but you're just born who you are with an identity. A is A, and there's no moral issue with it. And this goes back to, like, if you think, I'm not saying that you are, I'm just using you as an example. If you think that there's something wrong with you because you're dyslexic, or if I thought there was something wrong with me because of my ADHD, that's no different than one person trying to convince another person something's wrong with you because you're white, or you're black, or you're short, or you're ugly. Like, you didn't choose the thug life. Thug life chose you. Now
Yes, I don't think that I think that I see it differently. I think I have disadvantages, but I also have very strong advantages that other people don't have. Like I'm able to see connections and patterns. So one of the things,
Good.
for example, with dyslexia, is that we can't read very well, but in order to overcome that, we'll have to like use patterns just to read at the same pace.
Mm-hmm.
And this pattern recognition thing and noticing them, it's something that I feel I have a stronger advantage than anyone around me. So if I go to a job and I'm paid to solve problems, for example, I'll do it better than the average person. And I think that's a very strong
Good.
advantage. Obviously,
Oh,
I have a
yeah.
disadvantage, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely do that for sure. Especially if it comes really easy to you.
But that was my one advice for people watching this, is that if you feel depression over who you are, you have to learn it's not your fault. You didn't choose that. It's no one's fault. It's just how it is. And you only have one life to live, and that you cannot focus on your negatives. You have to focus on what you can do with your life. If you're born mentally retarded, if you're born missing arms, if you're born blind, doesn't matter. You are what you are, and you have to make the best of who you are, in a sense. And it's not a moral issue, because I dealt with that for decades. That I thought I was broken, that I was deficient, that God hated me, that reality hated me, blah, 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 blah. None of that crap. For many years, I cared about my height. I'm a short guy, right? Don't care about it anymore. It's other people's loss. Like, completely over it. It was gone like that. But I didn't know. It was understanding that morality, good or bad, only is possible when there's choice involved. And if there's no choice involved, there is no such thing as morality. So if you're watching this and you guys think there's something defective with you, there's nothing wrong with you. You're fine. Just focus on the positives. Notice some patterns and make some money.
Yeah,
Do what you can,
exactly.
right? And that's
Especially if you enjoy it.
And
Yeah.
that's the beauty of capitalism. If you are mentally retarded, if you're physically retarded, if you have ADHD, if you have dyslexia, if you're bipolar, in a proper society, you can be hired by somebody who sees value in you. Okay? And this has to be selfish both ways. In non-capitalist society, people who aren't, let's say, ideal are dealt with very unceremoniously in many societies. I have to go to, China, Russia, Cambodia, Cuba, Venezuela, blah, 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 blah. In New York, if you're old, you're expendable. We're seeing it right now in America, where Cuomo said, if you're over the age of 75, your life's not worth it. This is a consequence of utilitarian ethics, of environmentalist ethics. Too many people equals a bad. The point is, you want to advocate for
You go
capitalism.
off the rails here.
Yeah, you want to advocate for capitalism, because capitalism is the one system that takes defective people and allows them to bloom into beautiful flowers instead of keeping you like a depressed worm in your room your whole life.
I would say specialist in very niche areas is like division of labor,
Yes.
capitalism, like specialist in very niche areas.
Yes. In socialism, you know what? I'm on Twitch. I can't say that joke. Okay, I'll stop. All right. Let me see what JB. Yeah, that's another skill I had to learn was stop cursing when I speak extemporaneously. So,
Can I just say this is a very uplifting podcast.
Yeah, whenever you guys speak, it is. Whenever I do, it's like doom and gloom. It is what it is.
Well, you're looking at doom and gloom stuff. So when your topic is set at a article that's about doom and gloom, that's the only thing you can get out of it is doom and gloom. Like, it is what it is, like they say.
Jamie says, is this because we might place a level of stability in our current understanding based on what we believe? So we're okay because we think we're okay because X. And later we realize X wasn't what we thought it was. So our stability was based on a foundation of emotions. Yes, I know exactly what you're saying. Before, I mean, as poetic as it may be, before objectivism, I just thought that's how life was. There was no other choice. And in a metaphysical sense, this is how a lot of foreigners see America. That they see America as a land of opportunities. And if they can't get out of their country, if they can't get out of their current state, the famous example would be Rand herself. There's another objectivist named Puya who left Iran, and he sought greener pastures. Yeah, if you don't know, or people, I give that example as vile as it is, a father that chains a child in the basement, but when that child escapes at 14, it's a whole new life. You just don't know it exists until it's like Plato's cave in a sense. The danger of that is that most people they're just stuck in their, I can't say self-imposed echo chamber, because if their epistemology was destroyed so much so early on, it's just a miracle that I discovered Peikoff's video when I did. Otherwise, I'd still be yelling about minimum wage to this day, making videos about how Governor Cuomo is doing the right thing by eliminating old people because we have to save the planet. Yeah, good luck, my friend. Good luck.
Yeah.
So if we talk to others and our views are challenged, it's like our foundations are being questioned and scrutinized. It must be hard for some people. Absolutely. That is absolutely true. I'm going through that with my wife over the past couple of years. And
not even with your wife, with yourself as well. I mean, I've got the same thing going on. There's some times where there's a time when you're like in a I don't want to say tirade. When you're on a rant, maybe I don't know.
Okay.
When you're just talking about stuff, and you're going and you're going and going, and then you're like, and then you're like, and because you're thinking about what you're going to say because you're so used to saying it from before.
Yes.
And then you get to like, you're just like, wait. Did I say what I've always said before about all this stuff? And they're like, wait, okay, this is good. Okay, we're good there. All right. And then like that part where you stopped, you're like, okay, where I was gonna go. Oh yeah, no, I can't say that. That's not true. That's not how it works. So false equivocations and all sorts of things.
I think what you might be explaining is this experience of on Monday you were one person. Then during the week, whether you've done it consciously or not, you've begun integrating things in your subconscious. You started changing your premises and you don't realize it. You initially said, I want to change X, but then you go along your day and you hang out and you go to work, you're maybe not working out too much. And then on Friday, when you're in the car, you think something or do something that you normally would do before, but then you stop yourself. You're like, I don't really believe that anymore. Or that's weird. It's your conscious aware self. Rand calls this psychoepistemology. It's when your subconscious is feeding you information and you're aware of it. You're observing that the information that your old self is feeding you is no longer what you want, and you're able to just stop it and combat it. You're automating it. But while you're automating it, it's a battle inside you. It's the old you versus your old ideas, your old misintegrations against your new integrations. And it kind of amazes you because it's happening in your subconscious and you don't know it until you are aware of it. And it's always at the weirdest times. For example, I'll be driving in my car and I listen to certain music, and I grew up in New York, so I am not, let's say, a stranger to the N-word, as they say, right? Shocking. I know, right? So in my car, I'll go ahead and I'll start singing to some songs, and I'll start just wilding out, as the homies say. But then I stop wilding out. I'm like, why am I wilding out? Why am I doing N-word, right? Because I just don't like doing that anymore. It's not who I am. Before, I would just do it in my car. I wouldn't care. Now it's, oh, really? Man, that used to be me? Oh, God. Nah, I'm good, man. Like, I catch myself changing myself. Cursing on stream.
It's like when I went back to, I used to like Perfect Circle, all that stuff. And I listened to, like, what was it? The Emotive album? I think it was the Emotive album. It was a long time ago, right? Like, I still listen to stuff from a long time ago. Yeah. And I listened to the music, and I was listening to the words, and I was like, why the F did I listen to this stuff, man? Like, this dude's basic. No, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm like, I gotta change it. Gotta change it.
My favorite band in the whole world is Queen. I can't listen to 90% of their songs. For me, some objectivists can do this. Everyone's different. The lyrics.
Hold on. Whoa, wait.
What's up?
What about We Are the Champions?
We Are the Champions is fine because of the lyrics.
Yeah. Of course. It's an amazing song.
It depends on the lyrics of a song. I cannot get into a song if I understand what's being said. There's a group, I forget what it's called, but it's a German techno group, and they sing Christian techno, but it's in German. I love it because I don't know what the hell they're saying. I don't care. Like, they're saying, Father, help me, and they sing Christian stuff. It's Christian music.
Rammstein. That's fun.
It's because I can't understand it. I don't know conceptually what they're talking about. Irrelevant. Nope. I like the beat.
Sounds cool.
But the minute Queen says something about we have to sacrifice ourselves to feed all the poor in the world, I'm like, nope, done with that song for the rest of my life. Nope, done.
Wait. What about Fat Bottom Girls Makes the Rocking World Go Round?
Fat Bottom Girls Make the Rock. I mean, that's just adorable. That's a beautiful song. Man. A Bicycle Race too, which is, I think, is
Bicycle Race, yeah.
Yep. Oh, I love Queen. Just not most of their songs anymore.
I do know what you mean, Jason, with the, like,
Justin.
I really liked it when I was a teenager, and sorry, Justin. I liked it when I was a teenager, and then like, why did I even? This is silly. Like, it's just stupid that I liked it.
There's one
Yeah.
band in particular I lean into more now than ever because it's so bad. It's Limp Bizkit. Oh, I love me some Limp Bizkit, dude. Hot dog flavored because you can't take their lyrics seriously. Oh,
You can.
hot dog flavored water. Whoa. I mean, oh my god, dude, it's my jam, dog. Dun 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 dun. Oh, I'm getting into it right now, dude. Oh, anyway.
Go listen to some
Even
Bloodhound Gang.
Oh,
You know,
man.
Animal Planet. What is it? Discovery Channel. Whatever the hell that song was back in the day.
Banga Boys or whatever. Did they do
No, it was a Bloodhound Gang.
Bloodhound Gang?
Oh yeah.
That's an innocent song, though. I mean, it's fluff.
Yeah.
To it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not telling you to sacrifice yourself for dogs or anything. I think you're fine.
No. Yeah. True.
Yeah. So, Jamie, let's say you're 30 years old. Back to what you're saying. Right now, you're aware of this stream. So, up until right now, your subconscious is filled with premises that you've accepted since you were born. And that's the reality. And this is a proper usage of that term. You have your reality. Each individual has their own reality. But their reality is the accumulation of their values, their assumptions in subconscious form. And it'll give you an outlook on life. And that's what you're fighting. I guess a good allegory of that would be the movie The Village by M. Night Shyamalan, Lama Ding Dong,
Right.
where
Where
people are in a village and that's the only life they know. But when they're shown a contradiction with the monsters or something, they have to see what is out there. So if you see a contradiction in your own thinking, it depends on how honest you are. Do you want to continue to go through the forest to see what's really out there? Do you want to not see the forest for the trees, or do you want to stay ignorant in your own echo chamber? That's for every individual to wrestle with. Best of luck with that, my friend. That's a battle.
Yeah. It happened again just now. Like I normally, it's another one of those things where like you said The Village, and I was like, and I was like thinking about it, and then I was listening to what you were saying at the same time, and it was kind of like jiving together, and I was like, oh shit, maybe it's not that bad of a movie.
No. Hold on.
The
Village is a garbage movie. I was just trying to give a physical example because humans are perceptual too. And when you're having these discussions, it's good to give people visuals to concretize what I'm trying to capture in their minds. So if I'm trying to explain with words, you live one life, but another life is possible, I like to get a little visual in there and shove it in your face. The movie, The Village, like, now I get what you're saying. It's just a way to get in people's minds, like a word is worth 1,000 pictures kind of deal. It's a tool. I was using The Village as a tool, a means of getting my concept across. No, it's garbage movie, dude. It's trash. No, it's horrible. Yeah. Let's see. Nicki Minaj actually is a pretty good songwriter. She combines a healthy egoism with sexual education in each song. I mean, Brian, I sense a little bit of truth in there, but maybe you're being sarcastic. I don't know. Because I don't know enough about Nicki Minaj. All I know about her is what I see in popular media, but I don't know her as a person. I don't know her as a Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton's dumb persona. That's just an act. She's actually a very smart business person. She's not.
That's what I've heard too. Yeah.
She's not that. It's hot, like stupid airhead. That's what she presents to people because that's how you get eyes on her. But when she's walking down the street, she's like, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" Like she's a regular person and she's a smart business person. It's almost like an Andy Kaufman kind of thing. So I've learned to not judge crazy people in media right off the bat because it's the reason why she's a multi-millionaire. It's not because you're a dumb person and you're just rapping about stupid things. Sometimes there could be really smart business people. I don't know. I seek. Old Diego would have said, "Ha, she has a big butt and she sings about blah blah blah." But new Diego's like, there's some value in her. I mean, there's probably something that she does productive, which is why she lives in 5 mansions. You can't be a complete airhead and live in 5 mansions. Unless you're a politician. That's because you steal money. You don't actually have to work for it. Lesson learned. I respect Nicki Minaj more than I do any politician. Let's just put it that way.
Here.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully that provided a little bit of illumination for you, Jamie. Maybe a little. Maybe you're wrestling with some things. I don't know. But only you can come to your conclusions. No one can prove anything for you. You have to test these things on your own and see if they're true or not. I guess there was no leftist arguments to debunk today.
No, there was none.
Zero.
But
So what you're saying is it was a happy stream. It was a positive stream.
It was a positive stream.
there's a positive stream. Okay, so the three of us, this is not an everyday thing. This is basically going to be when they want to do this. Just so you guys know, this is not a return to the old DDV show where well, even the old DDV show, I did it once a week. So whenever these two want to come on, they can prepare material beforehand, and then we can go over the material. So I'm letting you guys know, if you want to do this again, and you want to talk about something in politics or philosophy or news, you got the two of you, you're welcome to bring something to the table. And why? It's so I don't have to do any work. It's a value. it's a value to me that I divide that labor for you guys.
Yeah.
That's the spirit.
Nicki
Fair
Minaj
enough.
thinks the COVID vaccine makes your testicles swell. Do they?
Did she check?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it could be a thing. I don't know. If they do, I need some more vaccines.
What's
bro.
the sample size?
I don't know.
Well, I mean-
About 4 pounds to 6 pounds.
No, how many people she checked it with? I'm saying.
Yeah. 6, 8, I don't know.
Did she weigh them?
Maybe
Like,
one. Who knows?
like the before and after
With a very
photos?
cold scale.
I could imagine a South Park episode where they show like a Nicki Minaj holding one set of testicles, and like 1 week later, bigger set of testicles. You know, in that South Park kind of animation. Trey Parker, if you do that, I want some royalties. Okay, thank you. IP, don't steal it. Much appreciated. No problem. So that's my wife. She's paying attention to the stream while eating tacos. As a matter of fact, I have tacos waiting for me.
Oh, man.
Do either of you have anything else you'd like to talk about before we end today's stream? If not, that's perfectly fine. Just letting you guys get the last word before I go eat tacos.
Pretty chill stream. It was
Yeah,
cool.
it's pretty nice. I like
Uplifting.
this. Hey, you guys are awesome. You guys are wonderful. Thank you both for being in my life. Good stuff, man.
Thank you, Diego. Thank you, Justin.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching. Much appreciated.
Very long name.
Give to my Patreon, please. I want money. And no, neither of you are getting that money. It's all mine. So have a great night. Love you all like an egalitarian. Say goodnight to the world there, guys.
Bye-bye.
Cool.